Today, I have an Advanced English Fluency Masterclass to help you improve all areas of your English. This masterclass has separate sections on vocabulary, grammar, listening, pronunciation, and of course, speaking. Welcome back to JForrest English. Of course, I'm Jennifer. Now let's get started. Section 1, vocabulary. First, you're going to learn 15 great things to say in everyday conversations. Let's start with phrases to offer advice. Number 1, here's my 2 cents. This phrase is used to give a personal opinion or suggestion. In this phrase, my 2 cents means my opinion, my opinion. And notice here, we have here's, repeat after me, here's. This is here is. So this is a contraction and the here's is the verb to be. Here is. So notice my 2 cents, even though cents ends with an S, this is conjugated as a singular. Here is, here's my 2 cents. So let's say someone asked you, do you think I should learn English with Jennifer? You can say, to offer your opinion, well, here's my 2 cents, here's my opinion, here's my 2 cents. She's an amazing teacher, so yes, you should. Now, you could also reverse the order and say, she's an amazing teacher, so yes, you should. So you start with your opinion, and then you can add on, but that's just my 2 cents. But that is my 2 cents. That's my opinion. So do you think that's right? You should learn English with Jennifer. If you do, put that's right, put that's right in the comments. And don't worry about taking notes because I summarize everything in a free lesson PDF. You can find the link in the description.
Just my 2 cents.
Anyway, that's my 2 cents.
This is my 2 cents.
Number 2, take it with a grain of salt. Have you heard this before? It's very common. This is used to suggest someone should not take something too seriously or literally. For example, you might say, my friend told me it will take 10 years to become fluent. Now I could say to you, take that with a grain of salt. Don't take it too literally or seriously. Now, what verb tense is being used here? Notice, take that. Our verb is take and is conjugated as the base verb, so this is the imperative. It's used to give an order or instruction. You could put this in a full sentence and you might say, you should. You should take that with a grain of salt. But that's just my 2 cents.
So take it with a grain of salt.
I would take everything with a grain of salt.
So you got to take everything I say with a grain of salt.
Number 3, if I were in your shoes, I'd. This is used to offer advice by imagining yourself in the other person's situations. So notice here, if I were in your shoes represents you or your situation. If I were you, if I were in your situation. Now notice, you might be thinking, if I were, do you know why this is I were? It's because it's the subjunctive of the verb to be, and were is used with all subjects. So again, your friend might say, should I subscribe to JForrest English? And then you could say, if I were in your shoes, if I were you, I'd subscribe, I would, plus base verb. I would, I'd, repeat after me, I'd, a very soft D, I'd subscribe.
If I were in your shoes, I'd wear neon.
If I were in your shoes, I'd want to weigh my options.
If I were in your shoes, I'd be so nervous.
Now let's talk about phrases to offer support. Number 4, can I give you a hand? This is used to offer help or assistance. So a hand represents the help. For example, I have so much work to do, I feel overwhelmed. Now you want to offer support. So you can use this as a question and say, can I give you a hand? Can I give you a hand? Can I help you? And if you want to give me a hand, you can subscribe and like this video because that definitely gives me a hand. That definitely helps me.
Give me a hand.
Can I give you a hand?
Can I give you a hand?
Number 5, let me know if you need anything. So again, this is to offer help or assistance. Your friend could say the same thing. I have so much work to do, I feel overwhelmed. And then you can reply back to offer your help or assistance and say, let me know if you need anything. Again, let me know if you need help. So you could say, let me know if you need a hand. And notice that pronunciation. In spoken English, let me becomes let me. Let me know. Let me know. Try that. Let me know. Let me know if you need anything.
Let me know if you need anything.
If you need anything, let me know.
If you need anything, let me know.
Are you enjoying this lesson? If you are, then I want to tell you about the Finally Fluent Academy. This is my premium training program where we study native English speakers from TV, movies, YouTube, and the news so you can improve your listening skills of fast English, expand your vocabulary with natural expressions, and learn advanced grammar easily. Plus, you'll have me as your personal coach. You can look in the description for the link to learn more, or you can go to my website and click on Finally Fluent Academy. Now let's continue with our lesson. Number 6, one of my favorites, I've got your back. Do you know this one? This is used to express support or readiness to help someone. You're ready to help. I've got your back. So your friend could say, I'm so worried about the presentation this afternoon. What if I lose my words? And then you can reply and say, don't worry, I've got your back. This means you're here to support your friend in any way you can based on the situation. Or you might be thinking, I need an English teacher who will teach me how natives talk in the real world. So I could reply back to that and say, I've got your back. It means I'm here to help you, support you in this specific situation, to help you understand natives in the real world.
I've got your back!
I've always got your back.
Besides, I got your back.
Number 7, I'm rooting for you. I love this one. This is to express support or encouragement. Now, rooting, this is the same meaning as cheering. I'm rooting for you. I'm cheering for you. So this means I hope you achieve your desired result. And this is in the present continuous. I'm rooting because it's taking place now. I'm cheering for you. I'm rooting for you. So maybe you could tell your friend, I applied for the new position, but so did 20 other people. So I could reply back and say, I'm rooting for you. I want you to achieve your desired result.
I'm rooting for you.
I'm rooting for you, princess.
I'm rooting for you.
Number 8, I'm here for you. What a nice thing to say in so many situations. I'm here for you. This is to show emotional support or availability to help. And this is used often when problems arise. So let's say your friend has that job interview tomorrow. You could say, I know the interview will be difficult. I'm here for you. Or maybe if the difficult problem happens and your friend doesn't get the job, you could say, I know you really wanted the promotion. I'm here for you. So I'm here to offer you the support that you need in this difficult situation. Now you could add on and say, I'm here for you. Let me know if you need a hand with anything. So you can absolutely use many of these expressions together.
I'm here for you.
I'm here for you.
I'm here for you.
Number 9, you've got this. I love this one. You've got this. I use this a lot. This is to offer encouragement, especially before a challenging task. Your friend could say the big interview to determine if I get the promotion is today. Wish me luck. And then you can say, you've got this. This is like saying, I know you will be successful. You've got this. Or you might say, I need to get a high score on my IELTS. And your friend or teacher could encourage you and say, you've got this. I know you can do it. You've got this.
You've got
this.
You've got this.
You've got this.
Now let's talk about phrases to offer support when someone feels discouraged. Number 10, keep your chin up. This is to encourage someone to stay positive or confident, because often when we're feeling down, our whole body goes down. So keep your chin up is to remind you to put your body in that more confident position, and you will feel more confident. This is commonly used in the imperative verb tense, keep your chin up, because again, it's an order or an instruction. So your friend might feel discouraged and say 20 other people applied for the job, there's no way I'll get it. And you tell your friend, keep your chin up, you've got this. This is a great time to add on, you've got this. Or your friend could say, I've been learning English for years, but I still don't feel confident. Again, keep your chin up, and again, you've got this. Or you could suggest to your friend, you might consider changing your approach, but that's just my 2 cents, that's just my opinion.
Keep your chin up.
You keep your chin up.
You keep your chin up, Gus Grimley.
Number 11, stay the course. This is to advise someone to continue on their current path despite challenges. So keep doing what you're doing. And again, this is often used in the imperative verb tense because it's an order or an instruction. Your friend could say, every day I speak out loud for 2 minutes, but it still feels awkward. So you reply back and say, stay the course. Keep doing exactly what you're doing. You could use a conditional, if you stay the course, you'll see improvements. You've got this. Keep your chin up.
Stay the course.
Stay the course.
Stay the course.
Number 12, take it one step at a time. This is to suggest a gradual approach to solving a problem or completing a task. And again, commonly used in the imperative verb tense because it's an order or an instruction. Your friend could say, learning English is so overwhelming. There are so many rules and exceptions to learn. And then you reply back to encourage your friend and say, take it one step at a time. This means focus on one thing at a time. Or maybe you could say, if I were in your shoes, I'd take it one step at a time. You've got this.
Take it one step at a time.
Just take it one step at a time.
Take it one step at a time.
Now let's talk about phrases to offer praise to someone for a job well done. Number 13, wow, I'm blown away. I'm blown away. This is to express that you're impressed by someone or something. So notice the sentence structure, to be blown away by someone or something if you include the someone or something. For example, wow, I'm blown away by your amazing presentation skills. This is a passive sentence. What would it be if we change this to an active sentence? You would say, your amazing presentation skills blow me away. Now you could say, I'm blown away that I learned so many useful expressions in one lesson. Hopefully you're thinking that right now, and that simply means that you're impressed.
I'm blown away.
I'm really blown away.
I am blown away.
Number 14, seriously great job. This seems simple because you already know how to use great job, of course. Adding seriously, this makes it stronger. So this is to give strong praise or recognition. And that's because seriously is an intensifier. You could say, you did a seriously great job, because you do a job, you do a great job, and then intensify it. You did a seriously great job. Or you could put this in the present continuous. You're doing a seriously great job, which you absolutely are with this lesson. Now you can use this just as the start to a sentence or the whole sentence. Seriously great job. I'm blown away. I'm impressed.
Great job, you guys. Great job.
Good job! Great job!
Great, really great job. Yeah.
Number 15, you're a rock star. I'm sure you've heard me use this one. You're a rock star. This is to compliment someone for their impressive performance. So the sentence structure is to be a star. And then of course you can add on rock star, because who doesn't want to be a rock star? So your friend could share great news, I got the promotion. And then you can compliment your friend, praise your friend by saying, you're a rock star. You could even say, I knew you would get the promotion because you're a rock star. Or you could use our last phrase as well, seriously well done. You can change great job to something else. Seriously, well done. You're a rock star.
Mike, you a rock star, man.
Guy's a rock star.
He's a rock star.
Amazing job. Now section 2, grammar. We're going to review an area I hear a lot of mistakes with, the difference between all of the, and all the. So what's the difference between all students struggle with their speaking skills, all of the students, or all the students struggle with their English speaking skills? Well, first you need to know the difference between a plural noun without an article and a plural noun with an article. So what's the difference between students and the students? This is the first thing you need to know. When we have a plural noun with no article in front of it, it's a general plural noun. We're talking about students in general. Any student, any subject, any age, any background, any students at all. So students. When we put the article the in front of a plural noun, students, now we're limiting it to a specific group of students. The students in my class. The students I work with. The students in university. So it's not general, we're limiting it. So that's the difference between all students and all of the students, or all students and all the students. All students is general, the students is specific. Now, of course, that leaves us with the question, what's the difference between all of the students and all the students? So why in one case we use the preposition of and in the other we don't? The answer is simple. In spoken English, we just leave out the word of because it's only there for grammar and it's not there for meaning. And this is just an acceptable thing that we do with the structure all, of, the, and a plural noun. You can think of as optional, and when we remove it, this is generally done in spoken English, and there is no difference between the two. However, to be safe and to make sure you're always grammatical, I recommend using of because it's always correct. All of the students. And I'm recommending that because there is an exception and we must use of followed by a pronoun. It's incorrect to say all us went to the party. That's incorrect because us is a pronoun. And because of that, I must say all of us went to the party. I can't say all us went to the party. That's incorrect. That's just an exception we use with pronouns. Students is not a pronoun. So I can say all of the students went to the party or all the students went to the party. In that case, both of them are correct and I can get rid of. So if you want, you can use the casual form that most native speakers use and get rid of, except when it's followed by a pronoun, then you must use of. And again, to be safe, I recommend using the structure all, of, the, and plural noun. Remember, when we're talking about plural nouns in general, not a specific group, then we get rid of the, and I can say all students struggle with their speaking skills. Section 3, listening. You're going to improve your listening skills of fast English so you can understand native speakers the first time. Here's how this lesson will work. I'm going to say a sentence 3 times and you need to write down exactly what you hear in the comments. After, I'll explain what I said and I'll explain the pronunciation changes that take place in fast English and I'll explain the natural expressions that I used. Are you ready for your first listening test? I'll say it 3 times. She's leaps and bounds more qualified than him. She's leaps and bounds more qualified than him. She's leaps and bounds more qualified than him. I said she's leaps and bounds more qualified than him. Notice the contraction, she's. This is she is, the verb to be. Native speakers will always contract this. She's. Let's talk about leaps and bounds. Notice how bounds, the D is not pronounced. Bounds, bounds. And here when we have and between 2 words, you can reduce that just to leaps and bounds, leaps and bounds, leaps and bounds. She's leaps and bounds more qualified than him. Notice how you don't hear the H on him, than him. But if we want to combine those sounds together and say it like one word, then him. Let's talk about what this means. She's more qualified than him. You understand that. When I add leaps and bounds, this is a modifier. It makes more qualified stronger. So it sounds like greatly more qualified, a lot more qualified. And it can also mean quickly if that's the context. But in this context, it's a modifier that means greatly. So you can say, I've improved my English by leaps and bounds. By leaps and bounds. Here, notice how you have to include the word by. I've improved my English, and you want to modify that improve to make it sound stronger. I've improved my English by leaps and bounds. So write that in the comments if you feel like my lessons are helping you improve your English by leaps and bounds. Jennifer, I've improved my English by leaps and bounds. Put that in the comments.
It's leaps and bounds ahead of mine. Which
you are just progressing by leaps and bounds.
Perchicon has grown by leaps and bounds.
Let's try this again. I'll say it 3 times. Is the agenda set in stone? Is the agenda set in stone? Is the agenda set in stone? I said, is the agenda set in stone? First, let's talk about the agenda. Notice how I have that long E sound, the agenda, because agenda starts with a vowel. This is not a rule that native speakers always follow. I could equally say the agenda, the agenda, the agenda. So if you hear both, it's just not something a native speaker always does. Let's talk about set in stone. Notice we have a T between 2 vowels. So we can pronounce that T as a soft D, set in. So I take that sound and I connect it to the next word in, and it sounds like din, din, set in stone. And I'll say all 3 of those words together because they're an expression. The expression is to be set in stone. In our example, the verb to be is. It starts the sentence because the sentence is in question form. Is the agenda set in stone? To be set in stone. When something is set in stone, in this case the agenda, it's in a state that is very difficult, if not impossible, to change. So the agenda could be set in stone because All the speakers are confirmed. You've booked the hotel room. You've already paid for the hotel room. People have already booked their ticket to come to the event. So it's difficult, if not impossible, to change any aspects of the agenda. It's set in stone. We commonly use this expression in the negative to say our plans aren't set in stone. If I say that to you, it means that I can change my plans. So perhaps I told you what my plans are, and then you want to do something different. I can say, oh, don't worry, our plans aren't set in stone. So it's saying I can change my plans are flexible. So you can use this both in the positive or the negative.
Because nothing's set in stone.
Oof, is that set in stone?
These nicknames, are they set in stone?
Let's try this again. I'll say it 3 times. I was tossing and turning all night. I was tossing and turning all night. I was tossing and turning all night. Did you get this one? I said I was tossing and turning all night. We have and, so remember, same thing as before, tossing in, I can change that to but I have to connect it to the word before, tossing and turning. So I will say all 3, tossing and turning, as one word. Tossing and turning, tossing and turning, tossing and turning. Now, commonly, a native speaker will drop the G sound on tossing, ing, and just say tossin', tossin'. I personally don't do this, but many native speakers do. Tossin', tossing, tossin'. But same thing, you have that sound, tossin' and turnin', or like I said, tossing and turning, tossing and turning. The pronunciation is quite clear, but if you don't know what this means, you won't know how to communicate with a native speaker. I was tossing and turning all night. To toss and turn, this is used to say you had a very restless sleep and you were moving a lot. That is the tossing and turning. That's the movement. You were moving a lot while you were sleeping, so you had a restless sleep. If you were tossing and turning all night, it means you had a restless sleep, so it means right now you're tired. You could say, sorry, I'm yawning so much. I tossed and turned all night. And that means you had a terrible sleep, so now you're tired.
That's what's got you tossing and turning.
He's always tossing and turning.
Man, then I spend all night tossing and turning trying to figure out what I should have said.
Are you ready for your next listening exercise? I'll say it 3 times. Just give it a go and see. Just give it a go and see. Just give it a go and see. Did you get this one? I said, just give it a go and see. Let's talk about give it. We can combine these together and I'm going to use that v sound. Give it, vit, vit, give it, give it. So that's how I can say these 2 words as one, give it. And I'll do the same thing with a go. I'll just pronounce it as one word, a go. Give it a go. Give it a go. Give it a go. Just give it a go and see. What does this mean? To give something a go simply means to try something. So if I say just give it a go, I'm saying just try it. Maybe your friend invited you to go dancing, but you don't know how to dance. I could say just give it a go. Now here the it is dancing. So I could say just give dancing a go. Just give dancing a go. Remember in the original example, it was just give it a go and see. Here, the C represents and see what happens. See what happens when you try dancing. Maybe you are really good at it, or maybe you're not very good at it, but you had so much fun, you don't even care that you weren't good at it. So if you send me a message and say, Jennifer, I'm not sure if I can give a presentation in English, I'll say to you, just give it a go. So I want you to write in the comments right now, Jennifer, I'll give it a go. I'll give it a go. Put that in the comments. Jennifer, I'll give it a go.
I'll give it a go.
Let's give it a go.
Let's give it a go and see what the future brings.
Let's try this one more time. I'll say it 3 times. We have a lot riding on this pitch. We have a lot riding on this pitch. We have a lot riding on this pitch. I said we have a lot riding on this pitch. Notice when I said the sentence fast, I did not contract we have. I didn't say we've a lot riding on this pitch. I didn't say that. I said we have a lot riding on this pitch. That's because in American English, we do not contract have when have is the main verb. We only contract have when it's an auxiliary verb. I could change this and say we've got a lot riding on this pitch. In this case, have is the auxiliary verb, got is the main verb, so I can form that contraction. We have, we've got a lot riding on this pitch. You're probably wondering what this means. When you have a lot riding on something, it means that something, whatever the something is extremely important to your success, whatever success means to you. Now in this case, the something is this pitch. This pitch is extremely important to this person's overall success. What does this pitch mean? In the business world, a pitch is a presentation, but the purpose is to convince someone to do something or to buy something. So it's extremely important that this pitch, this presentation is successful. And it's extremely important for the person's overall success, likely their career success. To use a previous expression that you learned, I was tossing and turning all night thinking about this pitch. My career is riding on it.
Everything is riding on it.
Well, this is it, folks. Everything is riding on this pitch.
So much rides on this.
Now let's do an imitation exercise so you can practice this pronunciation. So I'm going to say each sentence again, but I want you to say the sentence out loud, and then we'll repeat that 3 times. So let's do that now. She's leaps and bounds more qualified than him. She's leaps and bounds more qualified than him. She's leaps and bounds more qualified than him. Is the agenda set in stone? Is the agenda set in stone? Is the agenda set in stone? I was tossing and turning all night. I was tossing and turning all night. I was tossing and turning all night. Just give it a go and see. Just give it a go and see. Just give it a go and see. We have a lot riding on this pitch. We have a lot riding on this pitch. We have a lot riding on this pitch. Think of everything you've learned so far. Section 4, pronunciation. Now you're going to learn 10 confusing homographs. These are words with the same spelling, but different pronunciation and meaning. Do you know how to pronounce this word? Listen to me say this sentence and notice how the pronunciation changes. You should bow at the woman with the large bow. You can pronounce this as either bow or bow. It depends on how it's being used. Bow is a movement that we do either with your head, you can bow your head, or you can bow your upper body, and this is usually done as a sign of respect. That's bow. It's a verb or a noun. And this is a bow. And actually, this is a cool bow because it lights up. And of course, you can put a bow on a present. Now, there are different styles of bows. You can put a bow in your hair. You can put a bow on a piece of clothing. Men wear bow ties for very special occasions, like their weddings, for example. You should bow at the woman with the large bow. How do you pronounce this word? We need to lead with the information on the lead pipes. Two pronunciations, lead and lead. I'm sure you're familiar with the verb to lead. Now, the past simple of the verb lead is led, but the spelling is different. Here, on our second option, we also have lead. And in this case, it's a noun and it's a chemical substance, lead pipes. Pipes that are made from lead, which is a chemical substance. How do you pronounce this word? Listen to the difference. Seeing the tear in my shirt brought a tear to my eye. First, we have tear. You can tear a piece of paper. Now, tear as a noun is used to describe a hole or a rip in clothing or in material like a piece of paper. Tear is the liquid that comes from your eyes. Tear. Seeing a tear in my shirt brought a tear to my eye. How do you pronounce this? Well, again, it depends. Listen to the difference. It's hard to wind the toy in the wind. The verb to wind is to turn or to cause something to turn. So it's very small here, but right now what I'm doing is I'm winding this clock. So if you have a watch and you need to change the time on your watch, what you're doing there is wind. You're winding your watch. And of course, you know what the wind is. What about this word? How do you pronounce it? Listen to the difference. I wound the toy too hard and now I have a wound. Wound is the past form of wind. I wound the clock. But we also have a noun, wound. Wound. Wound is when you have a cut or hole on your body, usually caused by a weapon. You know how to pronounce this word, right? Listen to the sentence. I need a minute to review these minute details. Minute is our time reference, 60 seconds. You know how to pronounce that, minute. But there's an adjective, minute. Minute. Minute means very small. So notice how it describes the details, very small details. I need a minute to review the minute details. How do you pronounce this word? Listen to the difference. They need to produce more stands for the produce. Produce as our verb, of course, means to make something. Have you been in a grocery store and noticed that there are signs for the produce department? Produce represents the crops that are grown by farmers for consumption. They need to produce more stands for the produce. This word confuses a lot of students. How do you pronounce it? Listen to the difference. I live in an area with frequent live music performances. The verb live, of course, represents where you reside, where you call home. Live is used to describe a performance. It could be a musical performance, sports, movies, any kind of entertainment. A performance that is being broadcast or recorded as it's happening. So you can watch a sports game live, which means the moment that you're watching it, it's happening in real life. Right now, this recording that you're watching, it's not live. I recorded this in the past, I edited it, and then I uploaded it to YouTube. So this is not a live broadcast. How do you pronounce this? Listen to the difference. I was supposed to read 3 chapters, but I only read 1. When the pronunciation is that long sound, read, eed. That's for the infinitive, to read, or the base verb, read. And when it's the short sound, the same sound as the color, red, that's the past form of the verb read. Yesterday, I read a book. I've read 3 books this month. And the homograph that confuses me all the time is this word. How do you pronounce this? Listen to the difference. The bass guitarist loves bass fishing. Now, I always forget if the musical context is bass or bass. It's bass, bass, bass. Bass represents very low tones and sounds in music. So a bass guitar is a guitar that plays those very low sounds. Now, bass is a type of fish. The bass guitarist loves bass fishing. Now you have the most confusing homographs in English. How about a little quiz? I'm going to show you the sentence and I want you to say the sentence out loud, and then after you'll hear my pronunciation so you can compare it and make sure you got it right. Let's do that now. You should bow at the woman with the large bow. We need to lead with the information on the lead pipes. Seeing the tear in my shirt brought a tear to my eye. It's hard to wind the toy in the wind. I wound the toy too hard and now I have a wound. I need a minute to review these minute details. They need to produce more stands for the produce. I live in an area with frequent live music performances. I was supposed to read 3 chapters, but I only read 1. The bass guitarist loves bass fishing. And finally, section 5, speaking. In this section, you're going to learn how to introduce yourself in English confidently. Let's begin with casual conversations, maybe at parties or you're meeting your neighbors or you're traveling. I'll share a template called the START method. START. The S stands for start. So how do you start? Of course, with a greeting and your name. That's easy, right? I would say, hi, my name's Jennifer. My name is, my name's. Or I would say, hi, I'm Jennifer. I use both interchangeably. You probably know other greetings. At the most formal would simply be hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, hello all, hello everyone. A little less formal, more casual, hi there. We add there when you don't know the person's name or if you're addressing a group. And the most casual would be hey. Now, in a professional situation, you could say hello everyone, but then the same thing. My name's Jennifer. Now, in this case, you might add your last name in a more professional situation. My name's JForrest. But in casual situations, I would say, hi, I'm Jennifer. Now notice, my name has more than one syllable. In North America, people love reducing names to just one syllable or using a nickname. So if I do reduce my name or use a nickname, I could add, you can call me Jen. Or I go by Jen. So someone might ask you, or you can ask someone else, what do you go by? My name's Jennifer. What do you go by? What name do you go by? Or to sound a little more formal, you can say, what name do you prefer? And then I could say, oh, you can call me Jen, I go by Jen, or I go by Jennifer. These are the questions you might be asked, but they're also questions that you can ask others to get to know them. An important point in American English, don't say I'm called Jennifer. Yes, you can say you can call me Jen to introduce a nickname or a shortened name, but don't say I'm called Jen, I'm called Jennifer. My name is or I'm in American English. Now back to our START model. We know what the S means. Let's move on to T, territory. So we'll talk about geography, place. You can say I'm originally from, and then the city or country. I've been living in city or country for number of years. So we'll put this together. I'm originally from Winnipeg, but I've been living in Ottawa for over 10 years. This is true. Now notice I said I've been living. You can also use the present perfect and say I've lived. In this case, with the verb live, there is no difference. Let's review some questions. Where are you from? Are you originally from, and then the current location you're in? How long have you lived in, and then the current location? Or you could say, have you always lived in? Have you always lived in Ottawa? Don't worry about taking notes because I summarize everything in a free lesson PDF. You can find the link in the description. Now in our START method, let's talk about A, which is activity. Remember, you're in a casual situation, maybe a party or you're meeting your neighbors. So you can talk about work or hobbies or both. First, let's review work. I'm a graphic designer. Don't forget that article. I'm a graphic designer. I work for a small company. I work in graphic design. So here, in and then the area. Graphic design is the area. You could add on, I specialize in. You need that preposition in and then a gerund. I specialize in creating logos for cosmetic brands. You could also say, I create logos for cosmetic brands. Now the questions you might be asked or that you can ask someone, what do you do? Students often stare at me when I say, what do you do? They don't know what I'm asking. This is, what do you do for a living? For a living, but most of the time we just say, what do you do? This is saying, what is your job? But that is not how a native speaker would communicate that. What do you do? what do you do for a living? Someone could also ask you, what type of work do you do? Or what line of work are you in? They're asking your area of focus. What line of work? I'm a graphic designer, or I'm in graphic design. Now, if you're not currently employed, you can still answer this. If someone asks you, what do you do, or what do you do for a living? You can say, I'm a student. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I'm a homemaker. I'm retired. I'm a graphic designer, but I'm currently between jobs. This means you are unemployed. You could also say, I'm currently exploring career opportunities. Again, unemployed. Or I'm in a career transition. Again, unemployed. It's not common for someone to say in social situations, I'm unemployed or I'm jobless, because that has a very negative sound to it. So we have alternative ways to say the same thing. Let's talk about hobbies. You could say, I'm an avid cyclist. And avid means you cycle a lot. You're passionate about it. I love reading. I spend all my free time, gerund verb, drawing. I'm learning how to play guitar. I just got into yoga. To be into an activity means you enjoy doing that activity. As for the questions, what are your hobbies? What hobbies do you enjoy? How do you spend your free time? What are you into? So again, those are questions you might be asked or that you can ask whoever you're talking to. Now, this is just the point. I'm an avid cyclist. You might want to expand on this. So provide one piece of information. I spend every weekend cycling in the mountains. I'm currently training for a race. Or you can say, I've been cycling for 5 years. So this just gives more information that you can have a conversation on. Instead of a further point, you might provide the reason. I love reading. It's a great way to relax after a busy day designing, gerund verb, designing logos. Or it's so nice to disconnect from screens for a few minutes every day. Let's review our start method again. We are on R. This is your reason for attending wherever you are. The party, the wedding, the anniversary, the dinner, the neighborhood book club, wherever you are, your reason for being there. So let's say you're at an engagement party. A couple is celebrating the fact they're getting married. An engagement party. You might say, I went to school with a happy couple. This is how you know the couple, and it's your reason for attending. Or you can say, I work with Rebecca. Steve's my neighbor. Or you could say, I'm here with a friend. So you don't actually know the people. I'm here with a friend. She used to work with Christine. So you might provide how your friend knows the people who are hosting the party or event. As for the questions, how do you know? And then the person or people. How long have you known the person or people? Do you work with Rebecca? So if everyone there works with Rebecca, it might be assumed, or it's just a good guess. Do you work with Rebecca? Or just a very general, what brings you here? This is a polite way of saying, why are you here? Which sounds odd and direct. What brings you here? Now let's review the T in our start method, which stands for turn. This is very important. It means it's the other person's turn to talk. How do you do that? The best way is to end by asking a question. So you could use any of the questions we've already reviewed. So how do you know the person or people? Now, if you are at a wedding-related event, you could ask someone, have you bought your dress for the wedding yet? Because you know you're going to the wedding in a future date. Have you bought your dress? So you can ask questions related to the specific event. Or if the person you're talking to has a great relationship with the host, you might ask, do you have any funny stories about Christine? Or have you met Christine's father? Or are you from? And then you can ask about the current location. What do you do? How do you spend your free time? So you can ask any of the questions we've already reviewed. So now let's put our entire answer from the START method together for our introduction. Hi, I'm Jennifer. I'm originally from Winnipeg, but I've been living in Ottawa for over 10 years. I'm an English teacher and I run a YouTube channel and work directly with students in an online training program. In my free time, I love being in nature and going for hikes, walks, and bike rides. It's a nice contrast from spending all day at the computer. Christine and I met in university and we've kept in touch ever since. What about you? How do you know Christine? Keep in mind that this long introduction is probably not the most common in social situations. It's probably more common to share one point and then ask a question, share another point, ask a question, and have more of a dialogue. But let's review a professional situation where it is more common to share a monologue when you introduce yourself, let's say at a meeting, a networking event, or a conference. We'll use the impact framework. The I stands for identity. Who are you? So the same information you already learned. Hi, I'm Jennifer. I'm a graphic designer with over 15 years of experience. So notice with number of years of experience. I specialize in gerund verb, creating stunning logos for cosmetic companies. Now, in a professional situation, it's assumed you will also describe your work when you introduce yourself. That is part of your identity in a professional situation. Now let's move on to M, which stands for motivation. What motivates you to do the work that you do? Why do you do it? So you could say, I've always had a passion for art. And I've been drawing since I was a kid. So this gives you as the audience, as my coworkers, more information about who I am and why I love graphic design. Now, P stands for projects. What are you currently working on? This is very important in a professional situation. I'm currently designing a new logo for one of the world's largest cosmetic brands. The A stands for aspirations. What are your aspirations, your goals for either attending this event, working on this project, or in general in the future as it relates to your career? Because again, this is a professional introduction. You can start with my goal. My goal is, and then your infinitive, to connect with other graphic designers who can both motivate and challenge me. Or you could say, my goal is to learn how I can use AI to save time and improve the quality of my designs. Maybe you would share this at a meeting that has to do with AI, or a training, or a conference, a networking event. Now the final letter is CT. This stands for connect. Connect. One word, connect. So here you can either share how people can connect with you if you're at a networking event, a conference, a training, or you can express your interest in connecting with others. For example, you can connect with me on my website, jfdesigns.com. Or you can say, you can find a portfolio of my work on social media at JF Designs. Here's a phrase you need to know. I'm looking forward to, and then a gerund verb. I'm looking forward to connecting with everyone. Or you could say, I'm looking forward to something, the presentation on AI. So the expression is to look forward to. So your verb is look. That's what you need to conjugate. Following this, you need a gerund verb or a noun. I conjugated my verb in the present continuous. I'm looking forward to. This is more casual. You can also say, I look forward to the presentation on AI. Here is the present simple, which sounds more formal, but both are commonly used. Now remember, here we're connecting. So you might want to ask someone a question to connect with them more. What about you? What brings you here? Remember that? What brings you here? The same question you can use in social situations. What did you come here to learn if you're at a training or a conference or seminar? Or of course, you can ask a question related to their career. How long have you been a graphic designer? Or what area of graphic design do you focus on or specialize in? Both of those are common. Notice that preposition change. So now let's put all the information from the impact method together. Hi, I'm Jennifer. I'm a graphic designer with over 15 years of experience. I specialize in creating stunning logos for cosmetic companies. I've always had a passion for art and I've been drawing since I was a kid. I'm currently designing a new logo for one of the world's largest cosmetic companies. My goal is to connect with other graphic designers who can both motivate and challenge me. I look forward to connecting with everyone. Amazing job! Do you want me to make another masterclass just like this? If you do, put masterclass, masterclass, put masterclass in the comments. And of course, make sure you like this lesson, share it with your friends, and subscribe so you're notified every time I post a new lesson. And you can get this free speaking guide where I share 6 tips on how to speak English fluently and confidently. You can click here to download it or look for the link in the description. And here's another lesson I know you'll love. Watch it now.